Today, why willpower fails addicted men and what actually gives you control back. Welcome to Sacred Grit, a podcast equipping men to conquer addiction and overcome inner struggles through physical, mental, and spiritual disciplines so you can become a man of honor and integrity. I'm Jason.Lyle. Now let's get to work. Today you'll learn feeling out of control is a belief, not a fact. Beliefs change through repeated actions, not motivation. And discipline trains the skill that gives men control back. This episode is brought to you by Chuck Swenson. What's up, my dude? Welcome back to the Sacred Grit podcast right here on Sacred Sunday. Going to give you a big thought this morning. So how do you get control back? How do you get it back, right? So willpower. I hear so many guys are trying to white-knuckle this thing, and it's just like, I'm just going to buckle down, because listen, at the end of the day, it just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, it makes sense to go, I should just be able to quit. I should just be able to stop whatever this thing is that I'm doing. I know that it's going to hurt me. I should be able to stop. But then we find ourselves right back there again, smoking the thing, clicking the link, whatever it is that you're doing, texting the girl, all the things, eating the sugar, name it. I know what you're doing, man. So here's the deal. Let's talk about that. The feeling of out of control. Here's the thing about out of control. It is something that you are believing about yourself. So here's what kind of happens. And I know I've covered this before, but roll with me and entertain me for a moment. Here's the thing. When that feeling comes, that out of control feeling, if we're not careful, the first thing that clicks in our brain is, there it is. It's back. That's who I am. May as well do it. Okay. And here's the thing. The feeling doesn't originate in your thinking brain. The feeling originates in your chest. It's a response to your body. It's a feeling. It's a anticipation of what's to come. I have a guy that I did a podcast with and about to do another one with him here in just a few days. And he was I think he was either a heroin addict or a methamphetamine addict. And he said that as soon as he texted his dealer, he immediately felt better, right? What is that? That's the promise of what's to come. So we get this feeling inside of our body and it shoots it up to our mind, and our mind believes, oh, there it is. I am just a whatever. And we give into it. It's like, I'm just going to do this thing. And so I may as well just go on and do it and get it over with. Okay. Now here's the thing about that feeling, or that belief of being out of control. It is not a fact. You are not out of control. You just believe that you're out of control. Okay. So here's the second part to that. Your beliefs can change through your repeated actions, okay? Now, you might say, well, Jason, I don't see how that works. I love the way, I think Richard Rohr said this, you can't think yourself into a new way of being, but you can be yourself into a new way of thinking. That's kind of an idea of fake it till you make it, which I'm not a fan of if you prescribe to that type of theology. If if I just fake it, as if that's not what I mean. What I mean is, if we give ourselves everyday actions that prove the contrary of what we believe about ourselves, we'll start to believe the contrary about ourselves. Let me tell you what I mean. So let's say that I really just struggle with an eating problem. And most people can identify with this one, because most of us guys out there, we do struggle with eating problems. So let's say that I struggle with an eating problem. And so every day I get this urge to just go and eat a pint of ice cream, And what's going to happen in the midst of that, I might have packed on some pounds, or I remember, back when I was a fairly large guy, I would do this. I would have that craving come and I immediately go, I'm just a fat boy. Just let me go get me some ice cream. Us fat boys, we have to have our ice cream. That's what I would start to say. But here's what began to happen is when I shifted and started exercising. That's how it started. I didn't change my diet at first. I just started exercising. And every day I would meet this group of guys at the gym right after lunch, 2:00, and we would all work out together. And as I started to work out, here's what I started to notice. I would crave that thing, and then I would go, oh, wait a minute. I'm working out. I'm taking care of my body. I don't want to put that in my body. See? You see how that works? Now, that works with all manner of addictions. Now, I do want to point out, pornography and sex are a little bit different, but they still work in the same way. But we'll hold that discussion for another time. But all addiction works this way, in that if I have the craving and then I go, ooh, that's just who I am, I get to go do it, right? I'm kind of justifying my actions. But if everywhere else in my life, I'm starting to live as a man of honesty. I'm starting to live as a man of integrity. I'm starting to live as a man of self-control. I'm starting to live as a man of discipline. I'm starting to give myself all of these tools to support myself everywhere else. When that one thing pops up, I'll have the capacity to go, no, wait, that's not who I am. That is not who I am, because belief changes through repeated actions, not motivation. I do these things over and over and over to take care of myself, to show myself I love myself, to show myself that I have self-worth. And then these impulses start to lose their grip. And here's the thing. Discipline trains the skill that gives you the control back. All right. Discipline trains the skill that gives you the control back. So here's the thing, like, so get up, go to the gym, get up, go for a run, get up, go for a walk, get up, do some yoga, get up and journal, take my lunch, make it a healthy lunch, avoid places that I know that I shouldn't be, take certain things off of my phone that I know make me feel worse about myself, not better about myself. These are the things that we have to discipline. If we try to white-knuckle our addiction, when our addiction comes knocking, that is all that we have tried to change. Everything else gives us the excuse to go back to the addiction, right? So I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down here, because the idea is don't discipline the wrong thing. Discipline the right thing. Discipline the rest of life. Because it's not in this one seemingly uncontrollable thing that you only need discipline. That thing just seems to be out of control, doesn't it? Right? So you think, well, where's white-knuckling gotten me this far? That's a great question to ask yourself, because probably about the same place it's gotten everywhere else. But if all of my supporting actions around my addiction, if I start putting all these supporting actions in place, well, now I'm training the skill that gives me control back of my life, and that addiction starts to look a little smaller, right? Think about it. Think about every person that you've met who has overcome an addiction, whether it's alcohol, heroin, whatever it may be. I promise you, a main theme in their lives is they started getting support everywhere else. They started going to meetings. They started working steps. Maybe they started going to church. Maybe they started a spiritual practice. Maybe they got a mentor. Maybe they started eating right. Maybe they started getting healthy around exercise. Maybe they just put all these healthy habits in place. And that is what gave them the power over the sobriety. Because my dude, here's the thing, man. Willpower will fail you, but discipline and self-love gives you the tools you need to take control back. Men don't lose control because they're weak. They lose control because control is a skill they were never taught. I'm teaching you, gain control of your life everywhere else, and the addiction will find control. All right. Today you learned feeling out of control is a belief, not a fact. Beliefs change through repeated actions, not motivation. And discipline trains the skill that gives you control back. My dude, thank you for listening, my man. I hope you're enjoying this. I really appreciate you more than I can tell you. If you would like to book a consultation call, you could drop down in the show notes, book a free consultation call. I coach men is what I do, and I would love to coach you as well. We can see if we're a fit. This episode is also brought to you by Capital City Roofing. Now, let me tell you something about Capital City Roofing. Not only are they sponsors of the Sacred Grit podcast, they are a good group of folks. Brad over there, we were emailing earlier, he's starting a program to help hungry children to have nutritious food on the table. He is just a benevolent dude. But not only that, they are some of the finest folks in the business when it comes to all your exterior home needs. You can look them up at capitalcityroofing.net. My dude, I hope you have a great week. I will see you on Gritty Wednesday.